Alright, let's just jump straight into it. Number 8. The Immortal Jellyfish. Death is an unavoidable part of life, right? Almost every living thing on this planet follows the same familiar cycle. You're born, you grow up, you get old, and then that's pretty much it. Because somewhere deep down at the bottom of the ocean, there's a tiny little creature that looked death right in the face and said, "Not today." Meet Turritopsis dohrnii. Or by its fancier stage name, the Immortal Jellyfish. When it's in danger, injured, or simply too old, this jellyfish pulls off something no other creature on Earth can do. It can completely reverse its own life cycle. Instead of dying, it shrinks its body back down, rewinds to its larva stage, sticks itself onto a surface, and starts a whole new life. It basically hits the replay button on its own existence. In theory, it can repeat this over and over forever, making it biologically immortal. Basically, it's the only creature that has figured out how to age backwards, perfectly. A superpower that the entire billion-dollar anti-aging cosmetics industry can only tip its hat to and admit defeat. Number 7. The boiling punch of the Mantis Shrimp. Did you know the strongest boxer on the planet isn't even human? It's a shrimp. Yeah, you heard that right, a shrimp. But this is not the ordinary little shrimp you'd find floating in your hot pot. The Mantis Shrimp packs one of the most terrifying and impressive biological weapons in the entire ocean. Its front claws look like two heavy clubs, and they can throw a punch that accelerates as fast as a bullet fired from a rifle. The punch is so fast it literally boils the water in front of it, creating a tiny gas bubble called a cavitation bubble. When that bubble pops, it unleashes a brutal shockwave, a flash of light, and a burst of instant heat that can reach the temperature of the surface of the sun. Its prey, usually hard-shelled crabs or snails, don't just get their shells smashed open, they also get stunned by that underwater bubble explosion. In other words, this shrimp can knock out its opponent with nothing but the shockwave from an underwater explosion it made itself. Literally the hottest punch in the whole ocean. Number 6. The Axolotl, master of regeneration. Imagine losing an arm, and then just a few weeks later a brand new, perfectly functional arm grows right back in the exact same spot. For us, that's straight up science fiction movie material. But for the Mexican axolotl? Yeah, that's just an average Tuesday. This little guy, with a face that's permanently stuck in a smile, is basically the Deadpool of the animal kingdom. And its regeneration doesn't stop at limbs. It can regrow a damaged spinal cord, part of its lungs, and even crucial parts of its brain, without leaving a single scar. If an organ fails, it just grows a new one, and it can even accept transplanted body parts from other axolotls with zero rejection. Scientists all over the world are studying it day and night, hoping that one day they can hack the secret of this regeneration and apply it to human medicine. And until then, we're pretty much stuck slapping on a band-aid and hoping for the best. Number 5. The master of mimicry, the lyrebird. Picture this. You're taking a walk through a forest in Australia. Suddenly you hear a chainsaw, and right after that, the click of a camera shutter. Click click, and then a blaring car alarm going off. A construction site in the middle of the forest? Nope, it's just a little bird practicing its voice. The lyrebird is crowned the most skilled and complex vocal impersonator in the entire natural world. Its vocal organ is the most flexible of any songbird, letting it recreate almost any sound it hears with unbelievable, note-perfect accuracy. The songs of dozens of other birds? Easy. A dog barking? Way too simple. A motorcycle engine, a crying baby, or even a whole human conversation. Yeah, it can do all of that too. The male uses this talent to create a complex sound remix to woo a mate. It's a living sound synthesizer, a walking tape recorder that can turn an entire ecosystem into a song. Pro tip, never, ever tell your secrets anywhere near a lyrebird. Number 4. The water bear, the ultimate space survivor. Could any creature on Earth actually survive out in space without a bulky protective suit? Sounds like something out of a sci-fi flick. But the answer is actually yes. Meet the tardigrade, aka the water bear, a microanimal that is almost impossible to kill. The list of things this tiny creature can survive is honestly mind-blowing. Boil it in water? Still alive. Freeze it down to near absolute zero, and it just takes a little nap. Toss it into an active volcano, and it's still totally fine. Blast it with radiation hundreds of times the lethal dose for us humans. It doesn't even care. Dry it out completely for decades, and it'll just patiently wait. And one single drop of water brings it right back to life. They've actually been proven to survive the vacuum and deadly radiation of open space. Basically, if some apocalypse wipes out all complex life on this planet, chances are the water bears will be the last ones standing, just casually crawling around looking for a little moss to snack on. Number 3. The electric sense of the platypus. Nature sometimes has a really weird sense of humor, and the platypus is Exhibit A. It's a mammal that lays eggs. It's got the bill of a duck, the tail of a beaver, and venomous spurs like a snake. And if you think that's the end of the weirdness, oh, you are so wrong. Its real superpower is hidden inside that soft, rubbery bill. That bill is covered in tens of thousands of ultra-sensitive electric and motion sensors. When the platypus dives down to the dark riverbed to hunt, it shuts its eyes, closes its ears, and seals its nose. Instead, it uses its bill to scan its surroundings, sensing the tiny electric fields given off by the muscle twitches of prey like shrimp or insects. Basically, it's got a built-in biological radar, a sixth sense that lets it see everything in total darkness. It's basically a high-tech hunting submarine that can detect enemies without ever using its eyes. Number 2, the electric eel, a living battery. On this whole list, there's probably no superpower more classic and easy to picture than shooting electricity. And the absolute king of this field is none other than the electric eel. One sincere piece of advice from me: never, ever make it angry. Actually, it's not even an eel. It's actually a fish, with a body built like nature's very own electric gun. Over 2/3 of its body is made up of thousands of special cells called electrocytes. They work exactly like tiny batteries wired up in a series. When its brain gives the order to attack or defend, all these batteries fire off at the exact same moment. The result? A single shock can hit up to 600 volts, strong enough to knock down a full-grown horse. Or, more gently, to make your heart seriously reconsider whether it wants to keep beating. Basically, it's the only creature on Earth that can be both the meal and the power source for the very hot pot it's being cooked in. Number 1. The hairy frog. The real-life Wolverine. In the world of superheroes, maybe nobody's as cool as Wolverine, the mutant who can pop claws right out of the back of his hands. You think that's just fiction, right? Well then, meet Trichobatrachus robustus, aka the hairy frog straight from Central Africa. At first glance it looks pretty unremarkable, except for a bit of, well, hair. It's actually dermal papillae, skin strands that help it breathe through its skin. But when it feels threatened, something unbelievable happens. It has no claws, until the moment it needs them. When its life is on the line, this frog deliberately flexes a special muscle in its toe. That muscle contracts with brutal force, deliberately snapping the bones at the tips of its own toes. And it doesn't even stop there. Those sharp, dagger-like broken bones then pierce right through the flesh at its toe tips and jut straight out, turning its foot into a gruesome defensive weapon. Yeah, you heard that right. It literally breaks its own bones to make claws. These aren't claws growing out of the skin like a cat's or a dog's. This is its actual skeleton, turned into a weapon. Scientists believe this is a last-ditch, do-or-die mechanism. And unlike Wolverine, these claws can't just retract on their own. They're probably just wrapped back up in soft tissue and slowly heal after the battle is over. Forget the water-boiling punch, or the endless regeneration. A creature that wrecks its own skeleton in a split second just to fight. Now that is the weirdest, most reckless, most badass superpower in the entire natural world. Number 1, no debate about it. Period. Okay, so those are the 8 superpowers of nature. And you? You've got a superpower too. The power to turn that red subscribe button gray with a single click. Go on, try it. See you next time. Yeah.